All right, okay.
You good?
I'm just looking at the time.
Okay.
All right, good.
Yeah, we still have plenty of time.
No, I just put a timer every time at the beginning.
Okay.
All right.
Yep, I'll start the recording on mine as well.
Yeah, it's recording on my end. All right. So I'll intro this, and then you take it.
Okay, sounds good.
Welcome to this episode. Welcome, everyone. This is Matthias, and we're on with Sebast too. In this episode, this is a question we get all the time, which is, how can I scale my... Let me do it again. Just leave 10 seconds. I'll clap, okay? So it helps.
Yep.
Welcome, everyone. This is Matthias, and we're on with Sebast too. This is a pretty exciting episode because this is a question. So the theme of this episode is a question we get all the time, which is, and if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, or you want to grow from a one man or one woman business into a place where you have where you actually enjoy your life, the number one question we hear is, how can I scale my business, and have more freedom? So, the truth is, we could give a seminar about this. We could talk for 2-3 days about this. Let's just give you a few things here. We thought we'd give you a few things for this episode that you could think about to help you get to where you want to be. You want to take this, Sebas?
Yeah, so good. So, the main thing when you grow your business and what usually happens is that problems appear. So, let's say you have a business now and we tell you you press this big green button in front of you, and suddenly from this moment on, you have 100 times the customers that you currently have. Well, most businesses will have a problem, which is a good problem to have because it's good to think about that problem. Because when you go extreme with this thought, you will find solutions for the main problem. Because when a business grows steadily, before you know it, you're working more than ever. Especially when you start a business yourself and you can do a lot of things yourself in a business, it happens a lot of time that the entrepreneur actually becomes an employee of his or her own business because it grows steadily. Because, well, today you're doing this, tomorrow you also need to do a small thing on top of it. The day after that, another thing needs to happen, and eventually, in the coming months, years, maybe even, you get to a point where you're doing everything yourself because it's only a small thing you need to do. Of course, why would you do it yourself? It's efficient, you think, you're good at it, and why would you try to find someone else to do something small like that? But that whole thinking is flawed, and that will eventually bring you to the point where you come at a certain crossroad where you can decide, well, I have a successful business, but in essence, it's not really successful because I am the one who's running it, and I'm maybe even miserable. I don't have time for my friends and family, and I can't enjoy the benefits that a business like this would give. So the best way to look at this whole process of growing your business and not losing your freedom is by going extreme. Literally thinking, okay, my business is at this stage right now. Let's say tomorrow we go times 100 or times 1,000 in terms of revenue, in terms of prospects, in terms of customers, everything. Everything goes 1,000 times bigger. Well, if you go working backwards from that point up until now, you'll find like, okay, well, maybe instead of doing everything yourself, even that small little task, I need to find someone who can support me. I need to find a right-hand man or a right-hand woman. I need to find a developer because I'm not good at developing things. Maybe I need to find a copywriter. Maybe I need to expand the sales team, but in a different way. Because if I do it in the way that I'm currently doing it, I'm the one managing it. So I need someone underneath me. And by step outsourcing things, even inside your business, you don't need to get agencies for everything. You can get people inside your business working as a freelancer, so you don't need to have them on the payroll. And when you want to fire them, you can fire them, or when they don't perform or whatever happens, there's no real downside for you aside from, you need to replace them. But by really setting things up that way, you will get freedom. Because that way your business can grow. And your business will grow in a healthy way without you needing to putting in extra hours every day, every night. Before you know it, you're only working. So that really is very important when you want to grow and keep your freedom. Really find the things to outsource, but also remember the freedom you want to get. Remember, like, okay, the business is important, but I want my freedom. And also understand that a business can work without you. Yes, you are important, and yes, you're the boss and you're in charge. And a lot of times, the entrepreneur is the one who's, guiding the company to success. But that doesn't mean that the business doesn't work when you don't do all the work. I can guarantee you that when someone else does the work for you, things will grow even faster. And I think Unity is a very good example of that, because unlike a lot of other entrepreneurs, you're involved in so many companies. I don't even know how many you have, but it's like a lot of them, and not small companies, but literally multi-million euro or dollar companies all over the world. And you manage it, and you still have an amazing life. I mean, you have a wife, you have a family, you have all those things that you still wind up, enjoying while you still manage all those businesses. So maybe you can also share your tips and tricks for how you actually do it.
Sure. So, yes, I mean, you, Sebastian, we're business partners, yes, but also friends too. So you've been behind the scenes and really, spend time with me and the way I live and everything. So, what's interesting to me when we talk about hiring, and we've when did we start? 3 years ago together? 3 years ago?
Yeah, I think it's 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
What's interesting is we've talked about hiring many times. My company is, just so everyone kind of understands where I'm coming from, my companies have hired literally thousands of employees, freelancers, contractors since 2007. My very first developer was an Egyptian programmer when I was creating my first website for a ClickBank product, and I was stuck because I was using Microsoft Front Page at the time, and I was not a developer. And I put an ad on what is now Upwork, before it was called Odesk, and an Egyptian programmer, I basically messed up the code, I don't even know how, and he was my first, quote, employee / contractor. This was more than 15 years ago. It's 2003, 2004, 2003 probably. And so since then, we've hired thousands and thousands of people across the world, whether it's full-time, part-time. And so I would say, just in our companies, Sebastian and I have hired probably anywhere between 300 to 400 people, I would say.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Over the years, yeah. A lot of people.
Yeah. So about
people stay, but it's an ongoing process.
About 300 to 400 people, right? That's kind of so.
Yeah.
On a yearly basis, my businesses hire between, I'd say, 100 to 300 people. That's kind of the who go through the hiring process and are hired, and the best day, and the ones who don't perform get politely what's the word, thanked. We thank them, and we only keep people who perform, which is how you build successful teams. Now, my level, the level I'm at in my portfolio business, right, is not the level you might be at, and that's the truth. If you're starting out and you have a product that's working and you're doing 3,000 euros a month, the solution that you seek to grow will not be doing what I do with my businesses and hiring hundreds of people a year. But I want to give you one thing, one role, one type of position you can hire, and you must hire as soon as possible, because it will really free you, right? Ultimately, so coming back, and we'll get to that in a moment, ultimately, Sebastian mentioned that I have a lot of free time, and I run a pretty well-sized portfolio business, and with you know businesses who do education. So we sell courses, we sell software, and we have also offline businesses. And so I work on the computer probably around 2-3 hours a day at most. Like 3 hours in front of the computer a day is a lot for me. Usually it's around 2 hours. Now, does it mean I do nothing? No, I read, I'll listen to, I watch documentaries, I'll listen to things that I want to learn. But ultimately, in front of the computer, like office time, I'll do about 2 hours a day. And usually calls with my CMOs, my partners like Sebas and others, other managers and directors who run different brands and businesses. So my solution, this has taken me 15 plus years, and this is what I want to say is, it's taken me over 15 years to get to the position I'm in right now. So my situation right now is not the same that you are in, right? And the best way to understand this is to know, first of all, where you are at in your business, what's challenging right now, what's taking a lot of time from you, and trying to get that solved as soon as you can. So the number one position, that as soon as you start making a few €1,000 and you feel you can, you're getting to that point where it's breaking, right? When, you're forgetting things and you're delaying calls that you have with clients and the quality is dropping. As an entrepreneur, I wish you that, because that means that you're succeeding. It means you have demand and people want to buy from you. The number one role is a virtual or in-person assistant. And that person would basically be taking off a lot of things off your plate, right? How many assistants, whether it's virtual or in person, do we have, Sebas? Probably 5 or 6 right now for the different.
I think 6, and that's for one business.
Yeah, for one business we have 6 assistants. Now, some of them do data entry, right? They report numbers. Some of them do market research. Some of them make sure that the tech and the connections and the reporting works well. Some do customer support, right? Some do tech support. So the number one role you must hire for, and this can be on a freelancer basis, what Sebas said is very valid. You can find these people on, let's give people examples here in Dutch. What's some good freelancing examples? An international one is Upwork.com.
Yeah, you also have young creators where you find a lot of young people who are very hungry to work.
Yep.
I even think you have freelance.nl and also Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, look, it's very simple. You type in hire freelancer in your country and you'll find websites. I mean, where to find them is very easy today. Just Google it. Who to hire is the key. You have to hire someone who can take off the small tasks, who can take on the small tasks and take that off your plate. That would be creating invoices. That would be doing customer supports. That would be doing reporting, because you need to track your numbers. That would be updating your blog if you have a blog. That would be uploading things to social media if you use social media. Things that, my rule of thumb is, if we do it, and I say this to all my managers and business partners, if we do things more than once, every single day, if we need to do things more than once, the highest level people in my company should not be doing it. My business partners should not be doing it. An assistant should be doing it. And so I want you to think after this episode about the tasks that you do that are repetitive and try to start outsourcing that. You don't need someone you pay full time, right? Someone can do it in 1 or 2 hours a day and you pay them as a freelancer. But that will save you, first of all, it will give you your freedom back. That's one thing. But it will also free your mind. And that's, to me, in my position right now, time is the biggest problem. And we talk about this all the time, Sebas.
Yeah.
The most important element in my life today is time. When I start a new business or I invest or we acquire a new business, it has to fit within the time I have. If it goes over the time I can allocate, it's a no. I cannot do it. And so if you're in a position right now where you feel a bit stressed because things are moving and you're starting to see success, or you've been successful for some time, but you're ending your days being stressed and tired, it's not normal. I'll first say this, it's not normal. You can be very, very successful, you know, working 2 hours a day on the computer. So you have to think of, I make a list after this episode of the things that you keep doing over and over again that drain you. And you have activities today, you have tasks in your business that drain and take energy from you. And you have tasks that give you energy and that you're good at. Make a list of those two tasks, right? The good ones that you like doing and the ones that you want to delegate, and find a freelancer and start giving that to them. At the beginning, it might be a bit scary because you've never given anyone access or passwords to your websites, and it might be a bit scary, but it's the only way you're going to get your freedom back. If you're stuck right now and you end your days tired, it is not normal, right? Even if you run multiple businesses and you make good money, it is not normal to be stressed at the end of the day. Find someone, create a system, and then find someone you can delegate these tasks so you get your freedom back. That's how I see things, how I live my life, and it's what allows me to run a fairly large portfolio business without being more than 2 hours a day on the computer. And Sebas knows this because, we work together and he sees behind the scenes. And the secret to this, the only thing that makes that possible is being able to delegate. That's what I think. Anything you want to add, Sebas?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be expensive to delegate, especially when you look internationally. Some things, sure, you need local people for, but a lot of things when you need a sheet updated every single day, or you need your emails sent out, because in one of our previous or next episodes that you listen to, we mentioned email marketing, sending out more emails to make more money. Doesn't mean that you need to click the send button, someone else can do it. And you can find someone else fairly cheaply for like a few euros an hour, and for them it's like a lot of money, because in some countries you have very professional people who are dying to work for other people outside of their countries and make a lot of money, which for us is like, oh, it's only a few euros a day, a week.
And
it's a lot.
And the money is one thing, but they will do a better job than you. They will do a better job than you. They will enjoy it because they're good at graphic design and maybe you hate it. And so they will do a better job. They will enjoy doing it. And you will also create a job. It's something to be very proud of, right? Right now I have over 60 people working in our companies. It's amazing. Like we have, how many people in the Dutch right now? In the Dutch businesses, 15?
I think almost 20 actually.
20, so that's around 65 people in my businesses. It's amazing. You're contributing to these families, right? It's amazing to be able to create these jobs, these positions for people. So they will do a better job than you, and you will get your freedom back, and you help someone make money and feed their family. I think it's great. You have the power. It's a privilege to be able to do that, and you have to embrace it. And being generous with that and getting other people to do those tasks, you will be rewarded by having more time, but also, for me, it goes beyond just the money. It's doing something good to the world where you can help other people make money too, just by creating positions for them and having them work for you and feed their families doing something they like. Anything you want to add? Let's wrap this one up.
I think this is a good note to end it on.
All right.
It's very fun, and it sums up the whole idea of why it's important.
Very good. So we'll talk to you in the next episode. Good.